Selamat pagi! Keto here.
And Mio here to tell you that we had some leftover Megamind getting old in the fridge, so we decided to make a supercut casserole of both our Megamind Rules reviews.
So now you get a full recap and review of Megamind Rules without having to watch multiple videos. Also, the second video had to be a little bit more sensitive blurred than we'd like, so we tried to fix it.
And you can call us Billy Mays, cause that's not all! We've actually never reviewed the second Megamind movie, so we decided to finally cover Megamind vs. the Doom Syndicate in more detail.
A fresh review that we unfortunately had to watch the movie again to make. Pray for us.
There will likely be a large difference in quality between some of the videos, as we've gotten at least a little bit better at YouTube.
But without further ado, we hope that you enjoy the worst cartoon series ever made.
We did get better at YouTube, right?
A lot of people have already reviewed this film, so we'll keep it short. But we've also never seen anyone else's review, so all of our opinions will be our own. And if any opinion seems similar, well, it's the same movie, so you're gonna get similar opinions. I'm sorry if that offends you.
But hopefully our review will at least be entertaining.
Wait.
The movie starts and it freaking sucks.
Hello, loyal viewers.
The animation?
Bad.
The voice acting?
Bad. Well, mediocre. No, I'm saying I couldn't do better, but...
The jokes?
Terrible. But don't worry, it'll only get worse from here.
I hate it so much!
Megamind gives a recap of what happened in the first Megamind movie, and it's funny that they even bother showing scenes from the OG film because it just makes this movie look even worse. Plus, the voiceover just makes everything feel so childish.
But without a hero to fight, I felt lonely. So I created a new superhero to play with named Titan.
Instead of being a family movie, this is definitely a kids movie. And by kids movie, I mean your average Cocomelon enjoyer.
Babies! They're babies!
Anyway, we're in an aquarium. They do the thing where it's like, oh, are the fish talking? When it's really just humans talking above them.
You're in my personal space, bro.
Oh, well, excuse me for swimming.
Except while the goon says, excuse me for swimming. So that doesn't really make any sense.
The scene that follows has so much wrong with it, we don't actually have time to go into detail, so just here's a compilation.
Looks like we're both...
Are you in the hole? Ugh, Chum, make a note. No more puns. They're beneath us.
So that was a lie.
I guess a fair amount of time has passed in between the criminals being apprehended and then getting arrested because it's morning now, and Minion, or rather Chum, for legal reasons, is feeling mighty underappreciated as of late.
It seems writers forgot what happened during the first movie, and Megamind no longer respects Chum, for whatever reason.
Also, for whatever reason, Roxanne Ritchie is now having doubts that she contributes enough to society by being one of the only on-the-street news reporters in Metro City.
Little storylines like this only exist because the writers had to put something in the movie to fluff it up past an hour, and so that there's some kind of narrative for anyone who made the mistake of watching more than 10 minutes.
Roxanne really be like, I'm only reporting on the accomplishments of others, boo-hoo, woe is me. What an envious, pessimistic, and narcissistic way of looking at life. You have my pity.
Shortly after Roxanne has her existential crisis, we are introduced to the worst character in all of fiction, Keiko, whatever her last name is. She's arguably a worse character in the series that follows, but in the movie she's still just a pain to have on screen.
Keiko's simply a spunky, plucky, resourceful young kid with a punchable face. She proceeds to give Roxanne a pep talk.
Obviously, you're too cool to be just on television. You're a shark. You have to keep moving, girl.
Who is this freaking kid?
I'm streaming a show with 500,000 subscribers.
What? 500,000? Those are definitely unrealistic numbers. Views, maybe. Followers, ain't no way. Also, I guess reporting the news now is just obsolete.
Hey, yo, one of those arm animations.
Megamind is given the giant key to the city, and he nearly drops it because he can barely hold it. But then somehow he just yeets it through the air at Chum, and it hits Chum in the face and doesn't crack the fishbowl. That's crazy, man.
During the speech, they continue the stupid plotline of Chum not being appreciated enough by Megamind. So, Chum wants to be promoted to the rank of sidekick, and Roxanne encourages him. Apparently, it's okay to only want to be a sidekick, but being a famous news reporter, it's not enough.
I want more.
After the speech, Keiko tries to become Megamind's social media marketer, but he wisely turns her down. Chum tells Megamind it's time for him to be promoted, but Megamind isn't feeling it, so they choose to split. And by split, I mean leave each other. And by leave each other, I mean abandon one another. Megamind is rather surprised that Chum actually left, and I'm surprised the Peacock greenlit the series.
In the next scene, we're introduced to the Doom Syndicate, but not the version that you know from the video game. No. It's a psychedelic, Hot Flash, Destruction Worker, Judge Sludge, and Conductor. We have Lee Doppler, Behemoth, Peer Pressure, and Nighty Night. All of them have predictable powers that don't need to be explained in great detail. The Goobers are locked up in prison, but they escape. And honestly, the scene makes no sense at all. Well, maybe it makes like a little bit of sense, but like not very much.
There's no reason for them to cause all this chaos when they just blow a hole in the wall regardless. Regardless.
Roxanne, I'm in great danger!
Roxanne gets called by Megamind, but turns out that all he needed was some toasted pastries. So Megamind is a complete... I almost said something wrong. So Megamind is completely inept. Shortly thereafter, Megamind finds that the Doom Syndicate has bypassed all his security and accessed his lair to get to him.
Pause for a quick fake out. Surprise! Actually, the Doom Syndicate thinks that Megamind is still evil and just tricking the city is part of a big evil plan. They also think that Roxanne is Megamind's evil girlfriend.
Ooh. Roxanne asks how he's connected to the Doom Syndicate, and Megamind says that they used to be a supervillain team until he ditched them and told them to lay low until he hatched an evil plan. You know, I'm kind of getting the impression that Megamind never was a solo act, even though he said that he was.
I don't do teams. I'm more of a solo act.
Liar!
You think Roxanne would know at least some of this because she's reporting all the happenings of the city.
Or at least, looking at the news. Anyway, they have to keep up appearances until Megamind can make a plan to defeat the Goobers. He could just use the dehydration gun, but that would end the movie too quickly.
Instead, he and Roxanne decide to go along with the Doom Syndicate and pretend to be evil. That is until he can think of a plan. The villains go on a rampage and people run in terror for a bit. The city is then deserted after a couple of minutes.
Also, the cops are completely useless. They don't even have guns or tasers.
Not even a billy club in sight.
Nani?
What is Keiko doing here? Where are her parents? Why is she still streaming?
Megamind just saved yours truly from becoming a human vegan pancake.
Also, she's vegan. Do with that what you will.
Megamind, despite divulging information to Keiko for no reason, actually acts like an adult and tells her to go back home and watch cartoons. But the writers try to spin it like he's being unfair. But you want to know what's really unfair? Us having to wait several years for a Megamind sequel only for it to come out and be complete dog water.
The Doom Syndicate really wants Megamind to rob a bank, particularly because Lee Doppler is suspicious. Megamind goes into the bank, and everyone is happy to see him, but he must keep up evil appearances, so he starts a hold up.
Keiko reinserts herself back into my life and spins the situation into Megamind demonstrating a villain holdup to his online viewers so they can learn what to do in a villain holdup. Sure. And the citizens are somehow convinced by this. And Keiko's a smug little... well, maybe she deserves to feel smug considering Megamind is supposed to be a super genius.
And yet he still couldn't think of anything to improve the situation. Oh well. Luckily, this convinces the Doom Syndicate, at least for now. Meanwhile, the mayor is panicking and useless, and he needs Roxanne to make a plan and his assistant to open a bottle.
How did he get elected again? Back with Megamind, he still can't think of a single thing to stop the Doom Syndicate. Unfortunately, the Syndicate plans on launching Phase 2 tomorrow. So they throw a big evildoer party to celebrate.
Even more unfortunately, the fish dudes from earlier have broken out of prison and have arrived at the party, and they are heck bent on telling everyone that Megamind is really a hero.
I don't know why their testimony would be any more weighty than the news reporting that Megamind is a hero, or why he can't just say he had to arrest them to keep up hero appearances, but for some reason they are a threat to his ruse. Man, I wish these writers could actually write.
Megamind has a dance battle with one of them and dehydrates the other two, proving that he can blast people with that gun. Anyone except for the Syndicate, but whatever. Other than adding a giant plot hole, the scene is actually one of the better ones in the movie, as Megamind is relatively competent, and I say that relatively.
Pop over to Chum, who is doing well at his new job and has some ideas about how to improve the business that he's working at. Something about turning a fast food restaurant into like a donut shop or something. Well, yay for him.
Ignoring that little bit of filler, Roxanne is trying new things and trying to make muffins. This plot point goes nowhere. Roxanne and the Doom Syndicate ask what Phase 2 is supposed to be. Megamind reveals that his plan is to send Metro City to the moon like Bitcoin and create an evil society up there. Okay.
It's just nothing to say to that. He then, after revealing what the plan is, so that the villains now know, pretends to forget the security code. And now the villains are sure that he's acting out of character and say that if he doesn't activate phase 2 by the end of the day, they will level the city. And of course, Lady Doppler speaks for everyone else because she's just a mouthpiece for the whole syndicate.
Lovely. Roxanne convinces Megamind to try to team back up with Chum, and Keiko inserts herself back into the story again to get them into a super popular burger place turned donut shop. Business is booming, and Chum and the owner, Mr. Donut, are so happy. So Megamind decides not to tell Chum about the imminent destruction of the city and to ignore the help offered by Roxy and Keiko for no reason, really. Thus, he heads off to face the baddies on his own.
Behemoth, get the picture.
Picture.
Later, something Behemoth says gives him an idea, and he attempts to trap the Syndicate in a porta-prison. The first time he ever thought of that, but unfortunately, it was BrainBot 227, which was the same BrainBot that showed up earlier in the movie that doesn't work. And I guess since Chum was around, it never got fixed. Why did he choose that BrainBot? Who knows? But it glitches, and the villains now know his true good intentions. And the fish people are rehydrated somehow, and Megamind is surrounded.
Luckily, he makes a narrow escape, and the Doom Syndicate thinks he's dead. But really, he's not. Roxanne and Keiko find Megamind in hiding and tell him to go let go of his silly pride and recognize that he needs help. Ah! Chum also rejoins Megamind, and they add Keiko to officially join them as some kind of team. Yippee!
They need to stop the Syndicate before they break into the city launch control room thing, which was going to take about an hour. We would dwell more upon the whole let go of your silly pride thing, but we won't.
Megamind and Roxanne shoots the Syndicate with tennis balls in a rather jankily edited scene, and Chum tries to get into the lair and deactivate the launch, but he's stopped by the fish gang and the city starts to launch. Oh no.
Megamind and Roxanne retreat, and Roxy has to take charge of the city because somehow the mayor and the entire fire department, the whole police force, every authority and first responder is completely incompetent.
Shut your pie holes! My girl's trying to save your butts, so listen up! You got this.
Chum takes down the fish people in a bloody fight scene and shuts off the rockets, but that means the city has stopped flying and starts falling. While Chum is saved by a robot parrot Megamind made, Megamind himself fights the Doom Syndicate using his disguised generator, quick-setting concrete, rope, and with the help of Keiko and Roxanne.
The villains are defeated and the city is saved!
Yippee!
I can't do this alone!
Nor will you have to. This is a team effort.
Would you like some cheese on that, sir?
For flying with us.
Roxanne scolds the mayor, and one short election later, what's that supposed to mean? Roxanne is elected as mayor. Sure.
Now Megamind, Chum, Roxanne, and Keiko are all part of a super team. Yay! But there is also a mysterious brain character. Whoa. And that's pretty much the end of the movie.
Now that you know what happens in the movie, let's do a shimmy, a little jig, a little cha-cha slide over to the series. It boggles the mind that two of the original writers who worked on the first movie worked on this. Instead of true wit, they have puns and humor that is abysmal. Some things are close to being funny, but none of it is.
Now on to the TV show. Now that we've gotten past all that, right off the bat, the opening intro kind of slaps for some reason. That was unexpected.
What the heck? They got Adam Lambert?
Why is the opening song so good, but everything else is so garbage? And why did they hire Adam Lambert, but didn't get back any of the original voice actors for the movie? Top 10 questions science can't answer.
Jumping right into the first episode, we are greeted by the stiff animation and soulless eyes.
Throughout the entire series, Megamind is getting into this whole internet thing because the creators are super in touch, guys. They know what the internet is. They didn't just learn about it last week. Strangely enough, the only time we ever get good animation in this series is usually when it has this whole camera overlay thing. I'm not exactly sure why that is.
In this episode, Megamind is trying to inspire the people of Metro City, but he's being beaten at his own game by a new hero called Dude Monkey. And this dude is monkeying around with Megamind. He's also a vlogger, because once again...
Megan tries to get hip with the jive, and while it is supposed to be funny, is very cringe and very sad. Also, I hate Dude Monkey. Dude Monkey takes the aquarium gig that Megamind was supposed to speak at, but Megamind realizes that Nighty Night, one of the Doom Syndicate from earlier, is going to steal the fish from the aquarium. They stop him, but he gets what he really is after, which is the mutant starfish.
In the end, the Dude Monkey was a fake hero coward, so Megamind is popular again. And Megamind learns that he doesn't have to be so cool because people relate to him as he is. Unfortunately, Keiko, who caused this whole social media mess, does not learn anything, nor does she apologize or take any semblance of responsibility for anything that she caused.
And the humor is really, 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 really bad. Episode 2!
The entire premise of this episode is that the donut guy from the pilot episode / movie is giving a tour of his restaurant to Megamind and Roxanne, but some jelly flies out of Megamind's donut, and donut guy slips and falls into a vat of sticky donut stuff. Megamind then wrongfully thinks that donut guy is going to turn into a villain. Hilarity ensues.
Donut Guy gets amnesia and then he becomes a villain, and that just proves that this show is very predictable and most relies on tropes that we've all seen before.
This series introduces a character that is a secretary to Roxanne, and I'm really not sure what the point of her being here is, though to be fair, most of the characters of the show also serve no purpose.
In the end, Donut Guy gets his memory back. Yippee-ki-yay, whatever, stupid frickin' trash TV show, I wish you would just...
Episode 3!
This whole online thing is getting really, really, really annoying.
The premise behind this episode is that Chum and Keiko are having issues, because they find out Chum feels like he's being replaced by Keiko, and Keiko feels like she needs to prove that she's not just a third wheel in this relationship. We know this because they literally just say it in the show.
However, the show never really recognizes the fact that these assumptions are actually kind of true. Anyway, they accidentally create a super intelligent cockroach because Keiko is a sloppy eater.
The cockroach wants to eliminate humanity and take over the world, and Chum and Keiko have to team up to stop her and her mutant cockroach army thing, while Megamind gets over his fear of roaches. Because Megamind in this episode is a complete coward when it comes to roaches.
It's funny. Laugh.
Megamind gets over his fear of roaches and they suck up the roaches and launch them into space.
There is a line of dialogue at the end that causes me great pain. One character offers Keiko some food and says, "Granola?"
And Keiko responds, "Graniesla, end me." Episode 4!
It's a body swapping episode, and I would say the writers have run out of ideas, but I don't think they had any to begin with.
I will give credit, there was one scene in this episode that actually was kind of funny.
He's already upset about you blowing up his garage.
The jaywalker's getaway car was parked there.
So were 1,000 other cars.
I won't apologize for being thorough.
And strangely enough, Megamind in Roxanne's body, which sounds super weird, I'm sorry, is actually more entertaining than anything else that's in this show.
For some reason, Keiko was getting some award despite doing almost nothing for anyone. But sure, I guess she helped Megamind.
Because there's a whole body swapping thing between Roxanne and Megamind. Megamind is, doing a bunch of crazy stuff as mayor. Now that he's Roxanne, Roxanne is like, I can be a hero too and cause less destruction. And for some reason, she also does this whole thing with like, oh, minion, I appreciate you. I don't say that nearly enough, basically implying that Megamind doesn't say it nearly enough, even though in the movie, we already established that he actually does say that now. This is the second time that the writers have forgotten the first movie, and the first time they've forgotten the second movie.
I question the ethics of bringing Keiko along to chase a criminal, but she's only like 2 feet tall, so the chances of her getting shot are extremely low.
Everything goes to crap for a bit because they're not very good at each other's jobs, but then everything is okay in the end, and now I'm left wondering what this episode was trying to accomplish. I guess that Roxanne and Megamind can just switch places whenever they need to.
The show was trash. Episode 5!
Megamind goes on a jealousy arc. Woo!
Roxanne has a normal friend from summer camp when she was growing up that is also Keiko's teacher, and Megamind starts getting the big jealous. And in part of the episode here, when they're asking why he's so jealous and friends and everything, he says,
The way.
I grew up in a prison, remember? I'm new to the whole friend thing.
Hello, standing right here.
Oh, Chum, I adore you, but you're more of a vestigial limb, or a helpful ghost haunting me for life.
I'll take it!
and reference to Minion still. And they keep forgetting that he already said in the first movie that Minion is his best friend.
The super The stupid secretary is trying to take pictures of Roxanne hanging around with normal people, as though that is going to help her get reelected as mayor. Despite the fact that Roxanne helped save the city twice, is friends to both Megamind and Metro Man, which, while not normal, you think would be better than just saying, I hang out with normal people.
Keiko is being helped by Megamind to make a robot to throw a ball for a school project, but Megamind takes that robot and uses that one, despite the fact that he gave it to her, and then he invents a robot friend to try to fulfill his lack of childhood friends, and maybe make Roxanne a bit jealous. And basically, he's more of a crybaby in this episode than the rest of the series.
So later, he tries to give the robot back to Keiko because it doesn't make him feel any better, but the robot gets upset and goes on a rampage. They try to stop it gently so Keiko can get her product turned in, but it kidnaps Megamind. In the end, Roxanne saves Megamind by throwing the shocky ball thing and shooting the decelerator or whatever.
Megamind learns you can't make someone like you a certain way. The robot befriends another throwing robot, and Roxanne doesn't have that much in common with her other guy friend anyway, so it's all good in the end.
I will admit the animation in the show is a smidge more polished than the movie, but still not good at all.
I know this might seem a bit overdramatic, but this is one of the dumbest episodes of TV I have ever seen.
Episode 6!
5 minutes into the episode, and almost nothing of interest has happened, but now there's just a cloning machine that exists. Okay.
The main theme of this episode is, oh no, Chum made a clone of himself, and now that clone is making more clones, and Megamind is super tired and thinks he's dreaming, and the original Chum is having a assist-off with the secretary woman from before. It's not very interesting, honestly.
Also, the clones at one point decide to fuse together to make one giant Megazord minion. I don't think that's how that works, but who am I to judge?
At the end, Minion tells Big Minute to swim away, which probably means that the giant will eventually grow weak and drown, or it will return for a random episode later in the series.
Side note, this Rain villain guy who's popped up in a couple of episodes, he's cooking something.
I can see what they're doing, what he's doing. I can see it, I feel it. He's cooking.
Also, forgot to mention, he was teased at the end of the second movie, that's why he's in this series, blah blah blah. He taught Megamind how to be a villain.
Episode 7.
This show makes me so very tired. The whole streaming superhero thing is still present, and that sucks. But it's Keiko's birthday, so Roxy randomly gives her a camera drone out of nowhere. I don't even know why Roxy has that, but whatever.
Keiko leaves to go spy on the Doom Syndicate to prove that she's ready to be a hero. So she just pinpoints their metadata? If they can be found so easily, why has nobody done anything?
She pretends to be Nighty-Night, but Machiavellian, the brain thing from earlier, is not fooled because he's the only one in the show with actual average intelligence.
There are a couple of jokes such as,
he's much funnier now that he knows how to type.
Or, hi, Busted.
Honestly, if I had a head, I'd shake it in disappointment.
Busted.
Hi, Busted. Me Behemoth.
That might have been funny in a better show.
Meanwhile, Megamind doesn't want help again, ignoring the first movie where he later decides that, you know what, maybe I can't do this by myself and I need friends and people to help me along, but whatever. So he's making a cake because he doesn't want to defeat the person who teaches him like his teacher taught him apparently, or something.
There's some stupid stuff, including Keiko stealing something for the villains to gain their trust, and she gets the former mayor to make some replica of the item, which is Megamind's baby Binky, which I guess has some alien power source. I don't know. For some reason, after she delivers the fake, she proceeds to tell them that it is fake before making her escape. Why? I don't know. In the end, she was tricked, oh no, and she has the fake one and they have the real one. And now she is too ashamed to tell Megamind.
Thanks, but I don't deserve you guys.
It's facts! It's facts! It's not facts, these ices are not facts.
Episode 8!
Finally, an episode with stakes! And Keiko keeps not telling Megamind what happened for some reason, even though that's pretty important.
Machiavellian is the only antagonist to have any kind of charisma at all. He's not even that great, but he's league smarter than everyone else. I assume this is because Adam Lambert is voicing Machiavellian, so it's like, you know, we'll give you a good role.
Machiavellian, who is back in his body, tells Megamind he has to save the city by completing 3 tasks, and in each place there is one of the Doom Syndicate that he has to defeat.
The villain takedown scenes are just as underwhelming as usual.
But hark, it was all a trick! Machiavellian breaks into Megamind's secret headquarters and hacks into all his drones super easily.
I give up, that's it.
At the end of the episode, Machiavellian paints himself as a hero, stopping a comet from destroying Metro City. He paints Megamind as a villain who's trying to get the comet to destroy Metro City. And then Megamind gives up, pretty easily, all things considered.
Can't give up. This is not facts, these ices are not facts. Episode 9.
Episode 10. Episode 11. Episode 12. Episode 13. Episode 14. Episode 15. Episode 16. Episode 17. Episode 18. Episode 19. Episode 20. Episode 21. Episode 22. Episode 23. Episode 24. Episode 25. Episode 26. Episode 27. Episode 28. Episode 29. Episode 30. Episode 31. Episode 32. Episode 33. Episode 34. Episode 35. Episode 36. Episode 37. Episode 38. Episode 39. Episode 40. Episode 41. Episode 42. Episode 43. Episode 44. Episode 45. Episode 46. Episode 47. Episode 48. Episode 49. Episode 50. Episode 51. Episode 52. Episode 53. Episode 54. Episode 55.
The Megamind I knew would never have run from a fight, even when he knew he had absolutely no chance of winning.
And Roxanne changes sides real quickly. At the tail end of the episode, Megamind reveals the very disappointing truth that he did not defeat Machiavellian, he just accidentally blew up his lair, and he took the credit for it. And afterwards, Keiko also spills the beans and says that she caused this whole mess by giving them the thing that they were asking for, and of course, Megamind is not upset.
At the very, very end of the episode, they tease that they need Metro Man to save the city. So yay, they're gonna bring him into this.
Quite frankly, I'm kind of surprised to think they could get a season 2. I can't imagine any 6-year-old who's enjoying the series right now is gonna remember it later.
But you know what? That's their decision. Let them do what they will. This series was a chore to get through. We were originally going to cover the movie, but everyone else already did that, and not as many people covered the series, so I figured, you know what? Why not? Might as well. We're already late to the subject.
And now you don't have to watch the series yourself to know how terrible it is.
Utter crap.
Salamat siang! This is a little checkpoint in the video, a little break from the sludge that is Megamind Rules.
So, we shall take a brief moment to remember a time, a better time, before all this new Megamind crap came out. Back when the official Megamind sequel was just a little short on a DVD, or a Blu-ray, whatever it was.
It was called Megamind and the Button of Doom, and it features good voice acting.
Whoa!
The original voice acting.
Whoa!
Good animation.
Whoa!
Pretty decent jokes.
And character development, can you believe it?
The short is basically Megamind selling all of his evil gadgets and everything, and he ends up fighting a old robot thing that he built a while ago, and he learns he doesn't need to be like Metro Man to be the hero of the city. He alone is enough.
It was nice, short, and sweet, and actually coherent. And it's something that you can go watch for free on YouTube, as some guy, whoever this guy is, shout out to him, did the Lord's work and ripped it off a DVD and put it on YouTube.
Tell you to only use it for barbecuing, not for evil.
I don't like barbecues.
I don't like barbecues. Shall we start the bidding?
Don't move. I think I remembered what it is.
Are you in the invisible car?
No.
Anyway, the break is over. Now you shall go off to the Gulags. I mean, Megamind's Rules Season 2.
Good luck, soldier. We're all cheering you on.
Previously on Megamind Rules.
Soulless eyes.
I hate Dude Monkey.
Third wheel in this relationship.
Is the only antagonist to have any kind of charisma.
Metadata? All a trick.
He paints Megamind as a villain. Gives up pretty easily. They tease that they need Metro Man to save the city.
Quite frankly, I'm kind of surprised to think they could get a season 2.
It confirms the worst. Somehow, Megamind Rules returned.
Selamat pagi. Keto here.
And Mio here to tell you that we're going to finish what we started with our previous Megamind Rules video. And believe me, this half of the season might be worse than the first.
Despite being part 2 of Season 1, some people are calling this Season 2 for some reason, so I guess we will as well.
Now prepare yourself for a complete breakdown of one of the worst cartoons we've ever seen.
And stay until the end for an overall review. At the end.
Hello, loyal viewers.
Okay, we got a little confused with what episode is the first of the new season, so we actually watched this episode a little bit later. In this episode, Megamind is now living in the basement of Keiko's mother, and he's super sad that the former reporter, now Mayor Roxanne, appears to believe that Machiavellian is a good guy and that Megamind is a bad guy.
Also, Machiavellian has created a lose-lose situation for Megamind by choosing Megamind's numero uno fan, who happens to be a child, to be a hero for a day. Also manipulating him to try to catch Megamind.
If Megamind gets defeated by the kid, he goes to prison, and if he beats the kid, then he'll look like a real jerk.
In the end, Megamind saves the kid, who calls himself Super Cool Power Kid, and the boy once again switches to being a Megamind stan.
Number 1 fan is back on Team Megamind. See ya!
Roxanne randomly pops up, and it turns out that she's still on Megamind's side. Yay.
Oh yes, and they still live in Keiko's mother's basement. Yay.
Hello, loyal viewers.
Even though Megamind needs to keep a low profile, he still needs/wants to do hero things. Roxanne chides Megamind for not being discreet enough, even though all she's doing is wearing sunglasses. Regardless, Megamind must upgrade his fit.
But oh no, they have no gadgets, which means no disguise generators. So, Megamind resorts to makeup and wigs. He also needs a job that allows him to intermingle with the masses and keep an ear to the streets.
Because everyone shops at Everything City, a store seen earlier in the series, he'll be going there.
I don't really see how this is going to help him hear about everyone's problems or mingle with the people that much. He just works at the Everything City store.
Luckily, he just so happens to hear that an employee has gone missing. Oh yeah, the former mayor has actually popped up again, and now works at Everything City as the manager. Way to save money on creating a new character model, guys. Heh a wink.
So, Megamind is going to go by the alter ego Michael Mind, and he'll be the store's new night shelf stalker. So he'll only be working nights, but no one else is supposed to be in the store, making him getting this job even more pointless.
Chum is undercover in the pet section as a fishbowl, but for some reason, he's still in the mech suit thing. Why does he just go undercover as a fish in the tank? Or cut a hole in the desk so his head will pop through?
I guess we'll never know.
Machiavellian arrives at the store and he's beloved by all, and he may or may not know that Megamind is in disguise. He probably does.
Roxanne shows up to check on Megamind, and he gives her the skinny on what's going on in the store. But Roxanne also brought her assistant, who instantly falls in love with Michael Mind since she has no idea it's really Megamind. Yet another trope.
A little later, we see that Machiavellian has some sick disease merch that keeps bursting into flames. Chum puts out one of these flames by pouring fish water on it, but the water level never goes down. Anyway, Megamind starts his shift, but then he hears some creepy sounds from a creepy creature. He went to Chum, and Chum gives him a new gadget.
By the way, here's that gadget you asked for, sir. Best I could do on short notice, but it should pack a surprising punch.
Keiko shows up because her mom is cool with her being out late with a man who she barely knows. But oh no! Keiko was kidnapped by the creature. But don't worry, once Megamind and Chum find her, she's okay, because the creature who kidnapped her isn't a bad dude. Though one might question why he kidnapped her.
Megamind and Chum extrapolate that this man was a scientist that accidentally gave himself strange abilities during an experiment. He now turns into a mouse whenever he is afraid, and the fire hazards, caused by Machiavellian's unsafe merch, has caused him to be in a constant state of fear. Thus, he is now stuck as a mouse man, or Hugh Mouse, as he refers to himself. The show is very self-aware that this is a bad name, perhaps a bit too self-aware.
Anyway, Dan Donner is no more. I now go by Hugh Mouse. Part human, part mouse.
We might want to workshop that name.
Despite being a disgusting and revolting creature, Megamind and Keiko convince him to come out as Mouse, and that goes as well as you would expect.
Fires break out and almost everyone dies, but Hugh Mouse saves everyone, unfortunately, and Megamind saves the former mayor. And Chum saves only 4 fish.
Sorry if I gave you a fright, sir, but I had to rescue Bertha and her school.
Wait a minute!
By the end, Megamind is still on the run, but he has now won the hearts and the minds and the livers of that day's shoppers at Everything City, and he plans on doing something in the future. At least Hugh Mouse can enjoy life as a new manager because things just turned out that way.
This episode is bad, but not the worst, but bad enough that we won't be spending nearly as much time on the following episodes if possible. There were a lot of worse episodes in the first 8 episodes they released, so maybe the second half of the season will be better overall, but I'm not holding my breath.
Mio from the future here. It's actually kind of funny that they introduced the idea of Megamind working at Everything City, but it doesn't affect anything else in the series later. I thought they were setting something up, turns out they weren't.
Hello, loyal viewers.
You know when we said that maybe the second half of the season would be better? Well, we were wrong. It's still not the worst episode ever somehow, but still pretty bad.
This episode's gimmick is video games!
Oh, wow!
Megamind is addicted to some app game on his phone, and he ends up falling for a deepfake video of Chum and gets kidnapped, and that's literally what they call it, a deepfake. It's so modern and trendy, OMG.
When he wakes up, he's in a video game-like simulation that forces him to do evil things. Turns out the Machiavellian is doing this to Megamind, so that Megamind will have his Megamind reconditioned to do evil things in real life. Once Megamind has all 4 quadrants of his brain turned red, he will be so immersed in the simulation that he'll keep doing evil things. I guess that's just how things work now.
Meanwhile, Roxanne, Chum, and Keiko are watching Crab Cake Wars until they realize Megamind isn't there. They eventually find him driving the invisible car, and before they can convince Megamind that he's now in the real world and out of the simulation, Megamind is told to destroy Roxanne.
I will destroy you!
He kidnaps her and plans on launching her off the top of a building, but something snaps him back to reality. Oop, there goes gravity. And he saves Roxanne from dying in Minecraft.
Machiavellian figures out that love is stopping Megamind from being a villain, I guess, and just before Megamind can finally kiss Roxanne, Machiavellian throws him in prison! The end.
He plans on using Megamind's love against him somehow, but I don't know how if Megamind is behind bars. We'll just have to wait and see. This episode is just worse than the last one.
Hello, loyal viewers.
This episode is bad. Possibly the worst episode of the series so far.
So, Megamind is in prison, and he and other characters who pop up later don't have on prison uniforms, because the little children may forget who's who if they weren't wearing their superhero costumes.
Megamind is pretty chummy with all the prisoners there, because why wouldn't he be? And he's confident that he'll be able to break out of prison soon, as he's done multiple times in the past.
Escaping prison is so easy. There ought to be a law against it.
But oh no! The Doom Syndicate are guards at this prison, despite being publicly known as being villains. Now, to be fair, they could be criminals in jail, but it's not really specified.
One would also think that Megamind would be able to outsmart them because they're pretty dumb, but apparently in this show he's stupid. Roxanne starts making a plan to help Megamind get out of prison by tricking Machiavellian, but Megamind is worried that Roxanne may not be smart enough because Machiavellian is a super genius. Roxanne takes offense unjustly because Machiavellian is a super genius. Megamind starts working on his own plan to get out of prison with some returning characters, Dude Monkey and Hugh Mouse. Yay.
Unfortunately, their plans of escape keep on getting thwarted. How could this have happened? Meanwhile, Keiko and Chum are working on helping Megamind whilst listening to some random pop song remix. But while drawing up a plan, Keiko keeps on drawing M's instead. Somehow, the two manage to find a subliminal message baked into the song that reveals that the person who made the song is none other than an uninspired music man, aka Metro Man! After checking with the record company, they find out that Metro Man has checked himself into jail and will not leave until he gets inspired and writes another masterpiece.
What the heck? It's weird enough that you can just call a record company and find out that Metro Man was behind a viral song and went to the same jail as Megamind willingly, but what's with that subliminal message stuff?
It's just a really contrived way for Megamind to meet back up with Metro Man, I'm guessing.
So lazy, I'm mad!
What's even weirder, though, is that his reason for being in prison is because Machiavellian told Metro Man that if he wants to be a legend, he'll have to write a prison blues song. That's just bizarre.
Eventually, Megamind Rules stuff happens, and Metro Man is ready to sing a new song in front of the prison. But, oh, freaking no! Metro Man has stage fright.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Metro Man! Who's your man? Oh no, I gotta go! No!
Honestly, I'm done.
Actually, side note, Megamind gets Metro Man to go talk to some old guy to tell his sad prison story, but the first words Metro Man says are, "Is this a real prisoner? Buddy, you're in a prison complex." I'm amazed that it took Megamind to figure out that talking to prisoners might help you write prison blues. Also, why doesn't he just talk to Megamind? Megamind had a sad life, we already know this. But that might be a nitpick.
Back with Roxanne. Her plan to help Megamind by distracting the Doom Syndicate works, proving that she's smart, which is a subject that has never mattered and no one cares about. But instead of escaping, Megamind stays with Metro Man because Metro Man is Megamind's friend. This whole scene makes me want to puke.
I know some people may ignore the fall from grace this series has had and say we've been too harsh on a show made for kids. But one, I do not care, and number two, there are significantly better written shows for kids of all ages. These writers are just bad, which sucks because some of these writers are the same people who worked on the original movie.
Metro Man comes up with a song that's sorta about Megamind, and everyone loves it, even people who shouldn't be there. Seriously, who are these people?
The Doom Syndicate arrives, but Metro Man scares them off, and Megamind is free. But for Machiavellian, everything is going according to plan. The worst episode so far. Yo, you've watched pretty far into the video, which means you must like it. So, consider dropping a like, because if we reach 1,000 likes, we'll release another type of DreamWorks video like the rise and fall of the Madagascar franchise, or cover one of the other terrible series DreamWorks made. And anyway, back to the video.
This is quite the episode. Once again, this may be the worst one.
Roxanne visits some place called Little Delaware that is presumably within her jurisdiction, so that she can talk to some ogre of a woman called Kala Maguchi. And the reason we call her an ogre of a woman is because she very much looks like Shrek.
Roxanne says that the people of Little Delaware are complaining. I'm not sure if that's a noise complaint or something else, and why the mayor's taking care of it. And that, quote, it has to come down tomorrow, unquote.
I don't know if she means that the partially completed skyscraper needs to come down or what, but I don't think that's a usual procedure.
Also, there are barrels of toxic slime on the top level of the building for some reason, and apparently Carla makes all these skyscrapers herself, as no other construction workers are anywhere to be found, and she does it with her bare hands. And before someone says it, I know the toxic slime thing is a joke, it's just a really contrived one.
Meanwhile, Megamind asks Metro Man to help defeat Machiavillain, but Metro Man refuses, because that would end the series too soon, but he has an idea that could help. He digs a hole from Keiko's basement to the center of the earth where he keeps his collectibles, so he can find a rock that will swap his and Megamind's powers. Even though I'm pretty sure Megamind doesn't have powers, he's just really smart. I suppose the writers just don't care.
This works, and now Megamind is super strong and can fly and all that stuff, and Metro Man is smart enough to write music. But something Metro Man forgot is that the stone has side effects that causes Megamind to get dumber than a normal person, and Metro Man starts getting weaker than a normal person.
Now, Metro Man getting weaker is extremely inconsistent because he can't get out of his chair, but he can still stand and possibly walk. I'm guessing the writers only made him weaker so they could justify Megamind being dumber. That's just me guessing. Either way, this is bad news because while Metro Man was tunneling to the Earth's core, he caused all kinds of earthquakes and tremors, one of which caused Carla from earlier to fall off a skyscraper and toxic ooze and tools to fall on top of her. Now, she should be dead, but the ooze instead made the tools fuse to her body. Now she's on a rampage to destroy the whole city.
Well, the whole city! The whole city! The whole city! Oh, that's rich!
Megamind is too dumb to beat her, but with the help of smart Metro Man, they manage to stop her from destroying Little Delaware. Yay! They also weld their hands together behind her back, which doesn't seem very nice.
A couple of subplots we didn't mention. The townspeople don't want to evacuate because they're and think that Machiavillain will save the day. Also, Keiko still feels guilty about causing everything to happen involving Machiavillain, but her mother tells her to not blame herself, even though everything is still all Keiko's fault. The writers tried to do something here, but they fumbled the bag.
Hello, loyal viewers.
The writers may have given up at this point. The episode starts with Megamind having a nightmare where Roxanne gets blasted by Machiavillain's parrot drone. At the same time, Machiavillain has established a curfew for the city because he's going to perform a song for the whole city to see, and he wants everyone to be rested up. Or so he says. Roxanne is mayor though, so it doesn't really stick.
Megamind gathers all the allies he's collected throughout the series like Pokemon, and they come up with a plan to take all the memory chips from Machiavillain's drones and show evidence, concrete evidence of Machiavillain's villainy. Roxanne offers to get the parrot drone memory chip, as that likely has the most damning evidence, but Megamind tries to sideline her. Roxanne gets annoyed by this and demands an explanation, and Megamind gives it. He's all shook up about the dream, so he makes Roxanne promise not to do anything too dangerous and stupid, but Roxanne has her fingers crossed.
They manage to get all the memory chips, but oh no! They can't find any evidence against Machiavillain. Luckily, Roxanne lied to Megamind and is already in hot pursuit of the bird bot.
What? But you promised.
Once I get the card, I'll apologize after your apology for sidelining me.
Why are you the way that you are?
Unluckily, Keiko is sick, so Megamind and the gang have to leave without her.
They infiltrate the song event thingy, whatever you want to call it, and Machiavillain is one step ahead and captures all of them somehow. Everyone cheers because he beat up the bad guys, even though one of them is clearly a child that they've seen on public television before. That's a little weird.
Machiavillain starts singing his song and is about to finish when Roxanne arrives and presents evidence, concrete evidence, that Machia is evil. Not before the show gives more random validation to her again.
The people very quickly turn on Machia, but Machiavillain finishes his song, and now everyone, including Megamind's friends, excluding Keiko, are brainwashed into being villains.
Oh yeah! Oh my god, my voice. Oh yeah! Remember that scene where Megamind explains to Roxanne why he sidelined her? Well, the writers go ahead and do it again, but this time Megamind and Roxanne almost kiss again.
Hello.
The episode opens up with Donut Man's wife, I think that's what she's supposed to be, committing vandalism. Oh my gosh! She then turns around and says,
"What? Never seen a villain before?"
and destroys the camera? A little bit confusing. I thought all the drones were, taken over by Machiavillain, and I don't know why this camera was just here and why she acknowledged it, but we'll ignore it.
Keiko figures out that everyone's a villain and they have hooded eyes when they're evil. And Roxanne looks like she's perpetually high, not good.
She runs away, but Megamind snatches her into an alley using a lasso for some reason. He then explains that he's not taken over because Machiavellian somehow chose to spare him, so that Megamind will voluntarily choose villainy.
Why be a hero when nobody else? Wait, why be a hero when everyone else is a villain? But they can't figure out why Keiko was spared until they kidnapped her mother.
Okay. It seems that by blocking the frequency, people return to normal, and Machiavellian is likely using Megamind's satellite to broadcast the signal. Keiko didn't get hypnotized because her ears were clogged from her cold. Her clogged ears will be a matter of contention for later. Also, it's weird that Megamind just isn't affected, even though he should have relatively normal ears, but the writers just don't bother to explain that.
They need to go to the lair, but how are they going to get past all those evil citizens? Megamind has an answer.
Simple. By being heroes.
Such a poser.
While they're beating up the local residents,
Not scientifically possible!
the Doom Syndicate portrays Machiavellian and plans on defeating him, but unfortunately he is too strong or powerful or smart and they end up getting captured. Machia then uses the Stone of Transference from earlier, combined with a vacuum to suck the powers right out of him.
At least I still have my French accent.
Megamind and Keiko arrive, and Megamind tells Keiko to hide because Machiavellian doesn't know of her existence yet, while he goes to sneakily launch a missile that will destroy the satellite.
Now to set everything right with a touch of a button.
But because he can't keep his mouth shut, oh no, he ends up getting captured.
Megamind and Machiavellian have a conversation where Machiavellian tells him that being a villain would be better for him, and Megamind not being a villain is a stain on his record since he was Megamind's teacher. Megamind responds by saying he's just not that kind of guy anymore.
Now, while Megamind's reasoning is extremely uninteresting, the entire concept of this series wouldn't be so bad if it were condensed into a movie with a little bit more thought put into the story and less characters existing. So we hate the series not just for what it is, but also because it could have been something really, really good, or at least tolerable. Better than 2.0 on IMDb.
Machiavellian gets tricked by Keiko, according to Keiko, and she takes back the binky that grants Machia's powers.
Keiko's revenge! You tricked me into giving you that binky. Now you got tricked back by a little kid!
Keiko, who are you calling little? I've never seen a bigger superhero in my life.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
There are a lot of scenes of validation for Keiko and Roxanne, but almost none for Megamind and Chum, which really sucks because Megamind has had a massive downgrade from the movie and he gets pretty much no time to shine in his own series, without having to say something like, I couldn't do it without you guys, or no, you're the real hero. Cheesy garbage, I say. But Machiavellian ain't done yet. He transfers his consciousness into the main computer and stops the good guys from launching the missile. Oh no! And even worse, all the powers he sucked out of the Doom Syndicate, he gave to none other than Roxanne.
Machiavellian has turned Roxanne into a supervillain with all the Doom Syndicate's powers, and she's wearing spandex. Ugh!
Machia has turned her evil so that Megamind will be forced to join him or fight the person he cares about the most. Machia implies that he knows more about Megamind's past and he could teach him so much more.
But Megamind doesn't care and refuses to fight Roxanne. But Machiavellian reveals that in 22 minutes, he's somehow going to use the aforementioned satellite to make the signal go global, turning the whole planet into villains.
Okay. Roxanne is going to chase down Megamind, but he gets a 5-minute head start. Good thing. Megamind goes to Everything City since he doesn't have access to his gadgets. He's going to make something to take down the satellite, and he leaves the binky with Keiko.
The binky.
Even though she lost it the first time, because of course the show needs to validate Keiko, and everyone forgives her, and she shouldn't feel bad, and my word, this show sucks.
Oh my god! Wow!
Roxy hypnotizes Keiko into telling her where Megamind is, and she goes after him. She doesn't take the binky for some reason. Instead, Machiavellian calls for every other citizen of Metro City to go after the binky, including Chum, who's already in the lair, and doesn't go after it right away, for some reason.
Megamind runs away from Roxy and tries to appeal to the good in her in some Luke Skywalker dialogue. He does this multiple times as he flees, and it gets pretty repetitive pretty quickly. Actually, it's rather selfish of him to not try to fight Roxanne just because he doesn't feel good about it. Like, suck it up, Buttercup, the whole world is at stake.
Keiko makes a deal with the Doom Syndicate to help her protect the Binky, so they team up to defend against thousands of citizens breaking into the band. Oh, never mind, it's just the same characters we've seen before. Somehow, Keiko hacks into Megamind's computer system despite Machiavellian being inside the computer and takes control of the brain bots who start trapping the civilians. She doesn't send any to help Megamind though.
So thanks! Thanks for nothing!
You're welcome. Unfortunately, Keiko was grabbed by the evil chum, who finally decides to do something. However, Keiko whips a pair of Bluetooth headphones out of somewhere and slaps them on Chum's bold head, and that cancels out the signal? And she leaves the Binky! I hate this character. Like, what the heck? Wait, maybe, just maybe, this is a fake Binky from that previous episode. Let them cook.
There are many questions about the headphones and why they work and how the signal works, and whether or not she could have used those headphones on anybody else, but we're just going to ignore those.
Megamind constructs a missile launcher to blow up the satellite, but Roxy destroys it. How surprising. She beats up Megamind for a bit, and Machia tries one last time to convince Megamind to join him.
Keiko convinces the villains who are about to give up and leave to help her buy a little more time for Megamind, and they're like, we'll never hear the end of it at the next Villain Fest if we get shown up by a kid. Question! Why are the villains unaffected by the signal? It seems like it turns everyone else into a pond of Machiavellian, or at least a slave to their evil tendencies, but these villains are helping a hero, but that doesn't stop them. I guess because they're still being villainous and doing it for their own reasons?
Wait a second, are Keiko's ears still clogged? Megamind escapes using the parrot robot to fly to the tower where Megamind saved Roxanne from Titan from the movie. Machia says to Control-Alt-Delete this mistake, which would actually bring up Task Manager, but instead Roxanne charges Megamind very, very slowly, but in an act of intimidation, I'm sure.
Keiko, Chum, and the Doom Syndicate are about to die. I don't know why, they don't have the Binky anymore. Not sure if they're buying Megamind anytime either, really, but I hope they all perish.
Unfortunately, Megamind appeals once more to the good in Roxanne, and she stops just before killing him, and they kiss. Blech.
Roxanne flies upwards, and she can now breathe in space, even though that's not any of the Doom Syndicate's powers, and she destroys the satellite. Back at the base, Machiavellian uses the Binky to reconstruct his body.
What? And Keiko really just... It's fine. But a piece of the satellite lands on him, killing him again, maybe? Megamind and Roxanne arrive back at the lair, and everyone thanks Megamind for saving the city.
They're like, thank you, Megamind, and he's like,
Actually, it was more of a we thing. Let's hear it for our mayor! Actually, it was more of a we thing. Let's hear it for our...
Because Roxanne is so awesome, and Megamind always has to give credit to her, and it's never Megamind who's really the hero. Screw you, show!
Machia isn't completely dead, so Megamind puts him back into the computer/phone thingy-majiggy, and now his former mentor is the lair's personal slave. Later, we see that the city is putting itself back together again, just like the end of the first movie, except that time Megamind used a bunch of his brain bots to clean things up. This time, he just can't be bothered.
Mayor Roxanne gives out awards to the city's heroes, and do the Doom Syndicate get their powers back? I don't know, and for some reason neither does Megamind, even though we probably need him to reverse the process and operate the machine. And why would you give the villains back their powers anyway? It doesn't matter, that's the end of the show.
Our review. The writing in this series is rather poor, and the writers barely even try. In the last episode, they completely forgot about the stuffy ears thing and whether they can use headphones, and if so, why they don't.
Also, throughout this half of the series, Megamind forgets his rather large streaming platform. If he was trying to clear his name, he was doing a rather crummy job. And in the Power Swap episode, they completely forgot about what happened in a previous piece of Megamind media, a short called The Button of Doom, where he learns that he doesn't need Metro Man's powers or to mimic him in any way, he just needs to be himself.
Because they forget what happens, it leads to a lack of story progression. Actually is story regression a lot of the time. In the first movie, Megamind is a villain that turns into a hero after accidentally creating a villain. In the Doom Syndicate movie, Megamind must pretend to be a villain to stop the real villains. In the first half of the series, Megamind first finds out that a hero is actually kind of a villain, and someone he thought would be a villain does become a villain, but they convince him not to be. In the end of the first half of the season, the whole city thinks that Megamind is a villain, so he has to hide. In the second half, Megamind is tricked into being a villain, but Roxanne convinces him not to be one. Later, the whole city is turned into villains, and Megamind has to hide again. Roxanne turns into a supervillain, and Megamind has to convince her that she isn't one. Are you seeing a pattern here?
As for the character Megamind, he's just a shell of his former self. He's not particularly bright or useful, and it seems they just added him because they need him to be there for the IP to work. Some of his ignorance of like normal human things is just used for really bad jokes.
Roxanne's character has also regressed. She's now turned to a bratty, immature, petty person who only cares about proving that she's just as good and useful as everyone else. It's really they're trying to point to a romance between Megamind and Roxanne when both of them act like adult children.
And the constant validation of her character is beyond irritating. Roxanne, and Keiko as well, are always being propped up, despite the fact that Keiko is indirectly the cause of a lot of problems in the series.
And despite being uplifted constantly, they don't really bother writing them to be better characters. The quality still sucks, by the way, and the animation did not improve whatsoever. The character models are ugly and way too smooth. In general, we don't recommend this show because it is very, very bad, but in a weird way, it kind of has to be seen to be believed.
Now we know that this is indeed a kid's show. However, being a kid's show is not an excuse to have really bad writing, as significantly better kids shows exist.
Plus also, it really sucks because the Megamind movie is a family movie and it's a lot better. It has the same writers that are on this series. So why is this series so bad?
A confounding question that I have run out of time to answer.
So that's the end of this video. We hope that you enjoyed.
We're trying to get back on the horse of uploading, and this is the first of what will hopefully be many videos to come.
So hope that you enjoy, and we hope that you maybe subscribe to go help support us.
Wow, you actually made it? I genuinely did not expect you to survive that.
Yeah, we thought you would be done after like, I don't know, halfway through season 2? Maybe? But you're a lot stronger than we thought.
Maybe you're stronger than you know, and maybe that means you're strong enough to handle this video over here.
Or this video over here.
We see you there if you're strong enough.
Until then, in the wise words of the integrity of the Megamind franchise,
I'm out of here.